You've heard it your whole life. You just need more discipline. Push harder. Winners grind, losers quit. It's been repeated so often it's become gospel. And so when you find yourself lying in bed, paralyzed by your own procrastination, drowning in guilt over another unproductive day, you ask, but out of fear, out of confusion, out of survival. You see, discipline is a tool, but a tool in the wrong hands or in a chaotic environment does more harm than good. You wouldn't tell someone drowning in emotional fatigue to just swim harder. And yet that's exactly what society tells those struggling with motivation. Discipline isn't the solution, it's the symptom. Until you understand why you feel stuck, forcing discipline is like flooring the gas pedal in a car that's still in park. This is the beginning of the unraveling. Because once you realize that the entire foundation you've built your self-worth on, I need more discipline, is cracked and unstable, you start to question everything. What if I'm not lazy? What if I'm not broken? What if I've just been solving the wrong problem? Some say it's your fault. You must be weak, undisciplined, broken. But here's the twist you never saw coming. That belief is a lie. A beautiful, brutal, brilliantly marketed lie. Discipline has become the convenient scapegoat. Society worships it because it's easy to sell. Wake up at 5 a.m., cold showers, work harder than everyone else. These are the things we're told will fix our lives. But what if they're just masking something deeper? What if the real problem isn't your lack of discipline, but that you're trying to discipline a mind that's already exhausted, misaligned, and misunderstood? Think about this. You don't wake up one day and decide to sabotage your dreams. You don't consciously choose to scroll for hours instead of starting that business or writing that book. And yet you do, not because you lack willpower, but because something inside you is resisting, not out of laziness. Breaking free from the productivity paradox. Why working harder makes you worse. So now you know, you're not broken. You're not lazy. You're battling a brain wired for survival, not success. So naturally, you think the solution is to push harder, wake up earlier, grind longer, eliminate distractions, outwork your excuses, right? Wrong. That belief is the productivity paradox, the next trap, the illusion that working more equals getting further. But here's what no one tells you. Sometimes the more you push, the deeper you sink. It begins slowly. You build a color-coded calendar. You fill every hour with productive tasks. You chase the dopamine of checking boxes and completing to-dos. But inside something cracks. Because instead of feeling focused, you feel fractured. Instead of moving forward, you feel like you're sprinting on a treadmill going nowhere. And eventually your days feel full, but your life feels empty. Here's the paradox. Hard work is only powerful when it's pointed in the right direction. But when your inner compass is misaligned, hard work becomes a trap, one that buries you under the illusion of progress. You're not just burning out, you're burning out while getting nowhere. And the worst part, you feel like it's your fault, so you double down. You work even harder and crash even faster. Because productivity without purpose is just motion sickness. You're moving, sure, but spinning in circles, dizzy, exhausted, and increasingly disoriented. This is the cost of ignoring the deeper work, the cost of believing that grind is the answer to everything. But here's the twist no one prepared you for. You don't need more hustle. You need clarity. You don't need longer hours. You need to remove the friction that's wasting your energy. You don't need to work like someone else. You need to align your effort with who you are. And that's exactly where we go next. Because the next chapter shatters another illusion, one that's been holding millions hostage. The idea that motivation should come before action. The motivation myth. Why feeling ready is a trap. You've been told to wait until you're ready, to feel inspired, to let motivation hit you like lightning before you start. But what if I told you that's the trap keeping you stuck? What if feeling ready is the comfort blanket your brain uses to delay your transformation? Here's what you need to know. Motivation doesn't come before action. It comes after. After the first uncomfortable step. After the chaos. After the fear. Waiting to feel ready is like waiting for calm in the middle of a storm. It's a lie your nervous system whispers to you, not because it's lazy, but because it equates new behavior with danger. Every time you say, I'll start tomorrow, what you're really saying is, I don't feel safe enough to start today. And your brain nods along, thinking it's protecting you, because safety is predictable. Safety is routine, and feeling ready is just your brain stalling for time, hoping you'll stay in the comfort of familiarity. But here's the twist that flips everything. Readiness is not a feeling. It's a decision. Think back. The scariest things you ever did. You didn't feel ready. You felt terrified, unsure, exposed. But you acted anyway. And it was that action that made you ready. Motivation is like a muscle. It grows with use, not waiting. So the people you look up to, the high performers, the confident ones, the builders and creators, they didn't wait until they felt ready. They started before they felt qualified. They moved with shaky hands and unsure hearts. And eventually their brain caught up. This is the shift you've been missing. Don't wait to feel brave to take the first step. Take the first step and feel brave because you did. Because the longer you wait for the feeling, the longer you stay a prisoner to it. And to break out, you need to understand the real reason your mind is resisting forward motion. It's not lack of motivation. It's self-preservation disguised as logic. Clarity, friction. How your brain is sabotaging you and how to turn the tables. You've tried. You've pushed. You've planned, dreamed, journaled, visualized. But every time you reach for that next level, it's like something grabs your ankle and pulls you back under. What is it? Self-sabotage? Laziness? Fear? Number. It's something more subtle and more dangerous. Your brain. Not because it's evil, but because it's ancient. Because the same brain that helped early humans survive predators, famines, and tribal rejection still runs the show today. And here's the terrifying truth. Your brain is wired to protect you from growth, not because it hates progress, but because progress feels like threat. Every time you try to stretch into a new version of yourself, launch a business, start a habit, end a toxic pattern, your subconscious lights up like a war zone. The brain reads change as danger, and it fires up every defense it has. Procrastination, distraction, fatigue, overthinking. Let's just wait until Monday. It's not random. It's sabotage disguised as logic. This is neurochemical warfare. Your amygdala, the fear center, screams, unknown equals unsafe. Your prefrontal cortex, the logical planner, gets hijacked. Suddenly, comfort becomes king and risk becomes the enemy. You think you're making choices, but in reality, you're being manipulated by your own biology. But here's the twist, the powerful one. You can't delete this wiring, but you can retrain it. You can make progress feel familiar. You can teach your brain that discomfort is not danger. It starts with exposure. Taking micro actions that slowly rewire your brain's definition of safe. Actions so small, they fly under the fear radar, but they stack. And suddenly your brain begins to associate change with reward, not risk. You stop waiting for the fear to go away. You stop treating hesitation like truth, and you start acting in defiance of your wiring until your wiring learns to follow your lead. That's how you turn the tables, because your brain isn't your enemy. It's just an overprotective bodyguard. And in the next chapter, we unlock the tools to tame it with 3 game-changing levers hiding in plain sight. Entity, clarity, friction, and identity. The 3 secrets to unlocking true motivation. So far, we've exposed the lies. That motivation is about feeling ready. That productivity is about pushing harder. That your brain wants success. Now you're ready to understand what actually drives motivation consistently, deeply, and sustainably. It's not some hype routine or 5 a.m. miracle morning. It comes down to 3 forces hidden in your daily life like invisible gears, turning silently in the background of every decision you make. They are clarity, friction, identity. And once you master them, you stop chasing motivation because it starts chasing you. 1. Clarity, the mind's compass. Your brain doesn't fear effort, it fears confusion. If you don't know what success looks like, if the path is foggy, if your goals are vague or scattered, you'll stall every time because the brain defaults to inaction in uncertainty. It won't let you spend energy chasing shadows. So the first switch you flip is clarity. Not, I want to be healthier, but I will walk 20 minutes at 7 a.m. daily. Not, I'll start a business, but I will post 3 videos this week about my niche. Specific, measurable, concrete. When your brain can see the target clearly, it stops resisting the shot. 2. Friction, the silent killer. Here's the brutal truth. Most of your lack of motivation isn't mental. It's logistical. It's friction. It's 13 browser tabs open. It's the gym being a 30-minute drive away. It's trying to write while your phone lights up every 6 seconds. Friction kills momentum before it starts. But here's the twist. Friction works both ways. You can increase friction to stop bad habits. Put your phone in another room. Log out of social media and decrease it for good ones. Lay your clothes out the night before. Preload the document. Make starting stupidly easy. Make good things frictionless. Bad things inconvenient. And motivation takes care of itself. 3. Identity, the engine of consistency. This is the core, the force stronger than goals, stronger than emotion, stronger even than discipline. It's your identity, because we don't act based on what we want. We act based on who we believe we are. You can set goals all day, but if your identity says, I'm not the kind of person who sticks to things, your brain will find a way to sabotage you. So what do? You rebuild your identity through action. Tiny, consistent proof that tells your brain, I am the kind of person who follows through. I am someone who shows up. I don't wait to be perfect. I begin anyway. This is how habits stick, not because they're tracked, but because they become part of who you are. Clarity gives you the path. Friction clears the way. Identity fuels the engine. And once those 3 align, you don't chase motivation. You embody it. But there's still one twist left, a shadow reason behind your constant stalling. It's not just lack of direction. It's internal conflict between the old you and the one you're trying to become. And in Chapter 7, we'll expose that hidden war, the surprising truth behind not feeling ready and how to fix it. You say, I'm just not ready yet, but deep down you know that's not the truth. You've said it too many times, felt that ache too many mornings, seen others rise while you stay still, telling yourself, maybe next week, maybe when I'm more confident, maybe when things calm down. But here's the twist that shatters everything. Not feeling ready isn't procrastination. It's a civil war inside your identity. One part of you wants growth, to speak up, to build, to transform. But another part of you, older, quieter, and deeply rooted, whispers, this isn't you. Stay where it's safe. What if you fail? What will they think? It's not a lack of readiness. It's a conflict between who you are now and who you're becoming. Here's what's really happening. Your present identity was built to survive your past. It knows how to live with self-doubt. It knows how to blend in. It knows how to feel small, play safe, avoid risk. And now you're trying to overwrite it with vision, ambition, discipline, visibility. Your nervous system, it panics because this new version of you, it's unfamiliar, unproven, uncomfortable. So your brain creates resistance, not because you're not capable, but because it doesn't want you to abandon the identity that's kept you safe this long. The phrase, I don't feel ready, is often just grief for the person you're about to outgrow. And you will have to let that version of you go. The overthinker, the avoider, the self-doubter, not with hate, not with shame, but with compassion. Because they protected you once, but they can't take you where you're going. The fix isn't to wait until the fear disappears. The fix is to act with the fear, to choose the next small, brave step anyway. That's how you build alignment. That's how you become the kind of person your future depends on. You don't wait until you're ready. You move until you become the version of you who is. But this inner battle isn't just emotional. There are psychological traps designed to pull you back at every step. In Chapter 8, we're diving into them, the hidden snares silently killing your momentum. You're about to learn their names. 3 psychological traps that are secretly killing your motivation. You've tried everything, the plans, the schedules, the vision boards, the goals, but motivation still slips through your fingers like water. And worse, some days you even start questioning your own potential. But what if the real problem isn't you? What if there are traps, mental snares so subtle you don't even know you've stepped into them? Let's shine a flashlight on the 3 invisible traps draining your drive and how to escape them. Trap number 1, the perfectionism trap. If it's not perfect, it's not worth doing. Sounds noble, right? Except this belief is quietly killing your momentum. You delay projects, rewrite captions 14 times, plan endlessly, but never execute. Why? Because your brain has linked action to judgment. Perfectionism isn't about high standards. It's about fear. Fear of being exposed. Fear of being not enough. Fear that the real you won't survive the spotlight. But here's the twist. Perfectionism is just procrastination in a tuxedo. And it only dies when you do the work messy, scared, and unfinished anyway. Trap number 2, the fear of failure. Trap, what if I try and I fall? This is the most ancient trap of all, because failure used to mean exile, rejection, death. Your nervous system still believes that, so instead of risking failure, you make unconscious trade-offs. I'll start after I research more. Now's not the right season. I need to wait for the perfect moment. But here's the twist. You're not avoiding failure. You're avoiding the feeling of failure. And feelings, unlike failure, can't actually kill you. In fact, walking through them is the only way forward. Because every successful person you admire, they didn't avoid failure. They collected it, like stepping stones. Trap number 3, the instant gratification trap. If it doesn't feel good now, it's not worth doing. This one is everywhere. The urge to scroll, to snack, to watch instead of build. And it makes sense. Your brain is wired for dopamine hits, tiny bursts of pleasure that come instantly and cost you long-term progress. The internet, social media, entertainment, they've rewired your brain to crave ease now. But here's the real twist. The more you feed it, the less capacity you have for meaningful effort. Each distraction trains your brain to expect rewards with no effort, and that expectation silently erodes your ability to delay gratification, the key skill behind every great success. Escaping this trap starts with one small, rebellious act: choosing effort on purpose, training your brain to love progress more than pleasure. These 3 traps, perfectionism, fear of failure, and instant gratification, aren't just obstacles. They are mirrors, reflecting back the parts of you that want safety more than success. But now you see them, and once you see a trap, you can step around it. Or better yet, walk right through it. The mindset shift that elite performers use, and how you can steal it. We've uncovered the traps. We've exposed the fears. We've dismantled the myths. But if you're still wondering why some people succeed effortlessly, why they seem to have boundless energy, motivation, and drive when you're stuck in an endless cycle of doubt and self-sabotage, the answer lies in a mindset shift so simple, yet so transformative, that it feels like unlocking a cheat code. It's not about more discipline. It's not about being more talented. It's not about waiting for the right moment. It's this simple truth. Identity is the foundation of motivation. That's it. The high performers you admire, the athletes, the entrepreneurs, the creators, they don't force motivation. They don't push themselves to be productive. They don't need to, because their success is rooted in how they see themselves. They've reprogrammed their identity to align with their goals. They don't say, I'll do this to achieve something. They say, I do this because it's who I am. Think about it. An elite athlete doesn't have to remind themselves to train. They don't have to set alarms or create to-do lists. They are an athlete. A writer doesn't think, I'll write today to get closer to being published. They think, I am a writer. Writing is what they do because it's who they are. So why aren't you showing up like that? Why aren't you living like the future version of yourself today? Because your brain is still stuck in conflict, torn between who you are now and who you want to become. But the truth is, you are already who you need to be. The only thing you need to do is act in alignment with that version of you. Here's the twist. Your behavior doesn't follow your feelings. Your behavior follows your identity. The moment you start seeing yourself as a success, as someone who follows through, takes risks, embraces discomfort, that's when the actions fall into place. That's when your motivation isn't something you chase. It's something that chases you. So what do? Every day you embody the future version of you. Start with small, unglamorous actions, but do them like you already have the results you want. That's how the shift happens. Not by waiting, not by forcing it, but by becoming it every single day. This mindset shift is not some fancy philosophy. It's a tool you can start using today to take control of your motivation, no matter the circumstances. In the final chapter, I'm going to give you the simple, repeatable formula that will lock this in place for good. You'll be able to harness this mindset shift day after day and break free from the chains of procrastination for good. The hidden reason you're not moving forward, it's not what you think. So you've tried being more disciplined. You've set goals, made lists, followed routines, and yet you find yourself stuck, circling the same problems, the same excuses, the same moments of, I'll start tomorrow. You start asking the hardest question of all, what's wrong with me? But what if that's the wrong question? What if you're not stuck because you're weak, unmotivated, or broken, but because you're wired to stay exactly where you are? Let me explain something your brain has known all along, something it's been hiding from you in plain sight. Your brain doesn't care about your goals. It only cares about one thing, survival. And survival to your brain means familiarity. It means keeping things exactly as they are, even if they're painful. That's the hidden reason you're not moving forward. It's not laziness. It's biological resistance. Your nervous system interpreting growth, change, and risk as danger. So when you try to start a business, step into the gym, speak up in that meeting, or even sit down to work on your dream, you feel resistance. You feel tired, distracted, unmotivated. That's not failure. That's your brain throwing up emotional firewalls, mistaking effort for threat. The cruel part? You don't even realize it's happening because this sabotage is invisible. You just feel unmotivated and assume the worst about yourself. But in reality, it's your brain following an ancient operating system, screaming, this is unfamiliar. This is unsafe. Go back to what we know. And what you know might be boredom. It might be fear. It might be playing small. But it's familiar. And therefore, to your subconscious, it's safe. So you don't move forward. Not because you're flawed, but because your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. Protect you from uncertainty. That's the hidden enemy. It doesn't wear a mask or announce itself. It just makes you tired. Number distracted. It makes you scroll, clean, snack, snooze, anything but grow. But now that you see it, now that the truth has a face, you have a chance to fight back. Because the next part of this journey is not about working harder. It's about working with your mind, not against it. And to do that, we need to expose a trap even more dangerous. The belief that hard work always works. The simple, repeatable formula for motivation that works every time. You've learned the myths. You've unraveled the traps. You've discovered the hidden war inside your brain. But now you need something real, something that works when everything else fails, something that doesn't depend on motivation, moods, or circumstances. It's the formula, a simple, repeatable system that elite performers use every single day. The twist is this. This formula doesn't rely on perfection. It doesn't rely on waiting for the perfect moment. It doesn't depend on feeling ready or inspired. It's a system based on action, consistency, and identity. Step 1. Start before you're ready. The biggest mistake people make is waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for the right feeling, waiting to feel inspired. But the truth is, you will never feel ready. So step 1 is simple. Start. Even if it's not perfect, even if it's messy, even if you don't feel ready, start. This is where you break through the inner conflict. This is where the action begins and identity shifts. Step 2. anchor to your identity. Every action you take should reinforce the identity you want to embody. Who do you want to be? An athlete, a creator, a business owner, a healthy person? Don't just think about your goals. Act like the person who has already achieved them. The more you act in alignment with your future self, the stronger that identity becomes. And that identity will begin to drive your motivation from the inside. Step 3. Make it stupidly simple. The more friction you remove, the easier it becomes to act. Make your new habit as easy as possible. If you want to work out, lay out your gym clothes the night before. If you want to write, have your writing materials set up before bed. If you want to eat healthy, meal prep in advance. Make the next step so simple that it's impossible to fail. Step 4. Commit to consistency over perfection. Forget about doing it perfectly. Forget about having all the answers or making everything look good. The key is consistency. Showing up even when you don't feel like it. Because small, consistent actions will create momentum, and that momentum will carry you even when the motivation dips. Step 5. Celebrate the small wins. Motivation is a game of reinforcement. The brain loves reward, and celebrating your small wins reinforces the identity you're building. Each small action, no matter how tiny, is proof that you are the person who takes action, the person who shows up, the person who follows through. Celebrate it, mark it, and let that fuel you for the next step. Step 6. Use momentum to keep going. The most powerful part of this formula is that it doesn't require willpower to maintain. Once you've built momentum, the formula takes over. You don't have to motivate yourself to keep going. Momentum, once built, propels you forward. So start small, show up consistently, and let momentum do its job. The final twist. The truth is, motivation isn't magic. It's a byproduct of the actions you take, the identity you embrace, and the systems you build. When you combine clarity, friction, identity, and the simple formula, motivation becomes something you never need to chase again. It's there, every day, waiting for you to grab it.